It's yeah, it's quite a hip heavy class. So I would suggest if you've got them, grab a couple blocks or a couple books just nearby. Cushions will also be lovely. So we're going to begin in a cross-legged position, or if you want, you can begin in Virasana like this, where you sit on your heels or you sit on a block with your knees parallel with one another, maybe just out of touch, maybe even drawing in, whatever feels good. And then from here, let your palms face upwards, let your tailbone draw downwards, and close your eyes. Soften your jaw. Take time to settle within your space, your little sphere. Notice anywhere that you're holding tension this evening. If you felt rushed recently, you might find that your upper body's still kind of puffed up. See if you can sink down. Releasing the shoulders, releasing the jaw. We'll do box breathing this evening, or square breath for pranayama. So we'll inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Before we do that, let's inhale together through the nose. And exhale fully. Seal your lips and start breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold 1, 2, 3, 4. In for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. And hold for 4. Continue like this at your own pace. You can increase or decrease the count of breath. Continue doing this. See if you can soften the edges of your square. So that transition into holding isn't like a start-stop, it's just a slow coming to a pause. And similarly, the transition to start breathing again is a smooth, rounded edge. Slowly start to breathe. Finish your last circuit of breath. When you do that, allow the breath to come back into a slow, steady pace. If you're sitting in Virasana, come into a cross-legged position. And from here, let your hands rest on your knees, and we're going to start making some gentle circles with the hips. Rolling ourselves around our hip bones, around our sit bones. And you can think of your pelvis as a big bowl here, and that water is creating a nice little vortex with the water in the bowl. Gently swirling round and round. And then change direction. Leaning the bowl forwards, backwards, to the sides. And then come back to center. Let's take a couple seated cat-cows, nice and slowly. Take your hands to your knees as you inhale, pull the chest forward, draw your shoulder blades together. Exhale, round into your spine. Inhale, draw forwards. And exhale, round. Come back into a nice tall seat. And let's take Gomukhasana. So we're going to take the right knee underneath the left knee, and we want our heels to be drawing towards the hips if possible. It might look a bit more like this, that's fine. But again, left knee on top of right. If you can stack them, that's fine. If not, maybe use, there's a lot of black today, guys, sorry. Maybe use a block in between the knees to support, or sit on a block. That's your other option. Okay. And from here, you've got the option to keep your feet snuggled in nice and close. If you're really not enjoying that sensation in the right leg, you can extend your right leg out in front of you. That might feel a bit softer, a bit kinder on the knees. And you can either keep the heels close to the hips, or you can push your feet out and upwards towards the top edge of your mat if you're using one, whatever feels good. Sit up nice and tall, crown of the head reaches towards the ceiling, and then walk your left hand over to the left hand side. Try and keep some grounding with the right sit bone. Twist over to the right hand side, then reach your right arm up and overhead and let the right elbow rest on your head, or maybe take the right hand to the back of the head, whatever feels more natural to you. You can maybe bend that left elbow, or you can keep the left elbow straight. Enjoy that gentle tugging on the outside of the right hip. Bring yourself back up through center. Walk your right hand over to the right hand side. Take a twist over to the left and reach your left arm up and overhead. Maybe the left hand comes to the tip of the head, maybe the left hand comes to the back. Little bend in the right elbow if it feels okay. This side's probably going to feel a bit clunkier. You might feel some stronger sensations in the inner spine or the inner part of your left hip here. Just work with what feels good. If it's too much, you can always press yourself back up. The aim in these slightly more complex shapes is to get you fully into your body, out of your head. There's so much going on, so many sensations, twists, folds, extensions. Bring yourself slowly back up through center, and then from here, start to fold yourself forward. You may want to grab, if you've got a bolster, and maybe stack it up in front of you, like I've done with these blocks, maybe leaning it at an angle, take your head to the bolster, or you can rest your hands on the floor or rest them on blocks, whatever feels better. That's nice. Very good. And we're going to try and get the head as heavy as possible here so that we can feel strong sensations down the back of the spine. Remember, you can always support the head with your hands if you want. Gently start to push yourself back up. Take your hands back behind you. Extend your legs out in front of you. Just bob your knees up and down. And then from here, we'll take the same shape on the second side. So this time your left knee is going to go underneath, your right knee is going to stack on top. And if that feels too familiar, then you may have done this side the first time. Just make sure you swap and you've got the right ones, right way around. I've just said that and it feels, no, that's right. Okay, so remember, heels can be towards your bum, feet can be extended out and upwards. You can sit on a block, you can place blocks underneath your knees, whatever feels good for you. Make this shape sustainable. Walk your right hand over to the right hand side. Take a twist round to the left, reach the left arm up and overhead, and arc over to the side. If you feel like this is too effortful, remember you can prop yourself up. We're still working with this idea, this concept of the mandala, Hindu and Buddhist symbol of wholeness. Working with this idea of the circle, holistically exploring the body. Tonight, as I'm sure you've guessed, we are exploring the hips, all the different ways in which we can move our hips, of which there are many. Okay, bring yourself up and over to the left-hand side. Push yourself back up. And let's take our forward fold, make any adjustments that you need to. If you need a break, take a break. Start to walk your hands forward, using either your bolster or your blocks or nothing to create your dream scenario here. Make sure whatever that scenario is, it includes a very heavy head. So Gomukhasana, the shape variation that we're in right now, is a really good one to come to when you're thinking about the hips as a key player in anatomy, because they affect our whole body. Right now in this forward fold, we're feeling a lot in the legs and a lot in the lower back, but really the main effort is coming from the hips. So when we have a hip injury, we might not know, it might translate itself as shoulder pain or neck ache or foot pain. So it's always worth looking after your hips and looking after the pelvic girdle as a support for the rest of the body.
Dia dunga kolong kaca adama de unka kuma yele man kaca duya na ngasabali ni madokora ite kola bada duya na ni madokora ite akili soro fese yere lomba se ni be duya na yere boya ba se ni be duyana nga jano sitama nga kesoye
Gently start to press yourself back up. And same again, extend your legs out in front of you, little wide. bob your knees up and down. And if you want to, you can give yourself a little massage here by taking your fists and just gently knocking the muscles on the insides, on the outsides, the back of the legs, getting the blood flow back in there. Okay. From here, we're going to take the feet to touch. This is a pretty bold move after such a strong hip shape. So if it's not feeling good, instead, take your feet wide. I'd suggest using your blocks as knee supports here. Or if you've got a bolster, taking the bolster underneath your knees so that you've got something to carry the weight of the legs. Because remember, your femur is such a heavy bone, and that's weighing down at the hips and the knees here. So make sure you're feeling okay. You can go prop free, but I would suggest supporting. Then shimmy yourself backwards, creating a bit more length through the spine. And start to fold forward here. Hands can come to the inside of the legs if that feels good. Maybe a little foot massage to detract from what's happening in your hips. Or maybe you're happy to stay still. And if you're able to lower yourself quite considerably towards your legs, I quite enjoy kind of digging the elbows into the calf muscles, into that point where the calf meets the bone. It's quite a nice resting point. It's also like a gentle, slow massage.
Ambela bandiana wala jan. Oh, dia te soyanga dia no sitama.
Remember to keep constantly seeking for your edge. If you come to a point where the pose is feeling a little tame, maybe think about reaching a little further forward. If the pose is too spicy, think about pulling yourself out. That looks lovely, both of you. Let's take another 6 breaths here. Okay, let's start to push back up out of the shape. And from here, take your hands back behind you, feet to the floor. Let your knees windshield wiper from side to side. Okay. Come to lie down on your back. Take a nice bend in your knees, feet to the floor. And then from here, we'll take dead bug. Now, you can do this with a wee block underneath you for support, or you can keep your back on the ground. I would suggest experimenting with what feels good. Even a wee bolster underneath your sacrum might feel quite nice here. We don't want to turn it into a back bend. We just want it to be a wee support for the lower spine. So try it first of all, lifting the hips, sliding the block under as if we're coming into bridge. And then from here, let your feet float towards the sky. Now, if you feel really unstable in that shape, if you feel like you're going to topple over, remove the block and just do it with your back against the ground. Nice. You can add the arms if you want to, sending your arms up, or you can keep this an entirely lower half of the body experience. Remember, dead bug is absolutely effortless. A slight natural bend in the knees, your feet possibly turning in different directions. Feel the weight of your femur heads plugging into your hip socket. Make sure that your shoulders are really suction padded to the floor here. You can have the arms lifted if you want, or keep the hands heavy. Notice if your breath has become more shallow. If so, try and reach further down into your lungs as you breathe. Okay, and take your feet back down to the ground. If you have the block there, keep the block there. If you don't, grab it or bolster and place that underneath your sacrum. And from here, Extend the legs away from you. Let's take bridge, but option tonight if you want to take your legs a little wider so you've got space between the hips, as we have been opening them up. If you're done with that though, you can keep the feet roughly side by side. Let your hands rest by the side of your body. Slide the shoulder blades together. And enjoy what hopefully feels like a slightly more dynamic bridge pose than usual. The blood is still rushing back into the feet after dead bug, and our hips are feeling nice and warm and spicy. Option if you want to reach the arms up and overhead and feel that nice tummy stretch. Okay, bring your feet back down to the ground. Nice bend in the knees. Remove the block from underneath you and allow your spine to come down to the ground. Take your feet as wide as your mat, a little wider than the hips, and let your knees knock into the middle. Your hands can go where you want. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of pressure on the lower belly or the pelvis after a deep back bend like that. Maybe even a cushion will feel nice. Okay. Heel toe your feet so they're about hip width distance apart. And from here, cross your right foot over your left thigh. So you're creating a number 4 shape with your legs. And rock the legs all the way over to the left hand side so that your right foot is reaching towards the floor or a block and your left knee is reaching towards the floor or a block. And if you can, try and reach your left hand towards the right ankle. That's just an option. Option to extend your right arm out to the side, or maybe even reach your right hand towards the left foot. It's quite a tight option if you do take that, so just do what feels nice. And what we're wanting to target is that really often tight part of the hip, outer right hip, top of the right thigh, leaning in towards the midline. And this is one of those shapes that you can really feel the effect your breath has on your body as you breathe in, what happens to that right hip. As you breathe out, what happens. Notice if your jaw has tightened or clenched at all, and just wiggle it free. Unravel the legs, bring your feet back through center, taking the feet to the floor. We'll come straight into the second side. So cross your left ankle over your right thigh, creating that number 4 shape. And then allow your left foot and right knee to wave over to the right hand side. And maybe you're grabbing onto the left ankle or thigh or shin with your right hand. Maybe you're extending the left arm or taking your left hand around your right foot, whatever feels better. Take a shape that feels yummy. That's lovely. Feels icky. Okay, come back around through center and hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a wee cuddle. You're going to take a slightly softer twist now. Keeping your knees hugged in close to the chest. Take your left hand to the outside of the right knee and pull your legs over to the left-hand side. So we're in a really tight wee twist. Walk the left shoulder blade over to the left, extend your left arm, reach your right arm out towards the right-hand side. And this is a nice time if you want to add a cushion in between the legs or underneath the legs. This is something to kind of curry into. Pull your knees back in close to your chest. And on your next exhale, take your twist to the right-hand side. Extending your left arm, maybe moving that right shoulder blade across to the right side of the mat. Hug your knees back into your chest one last time. And this time make some small circles with your knees, massaging the lower back back of the pelvis as well. Okay, from here, bring your feet down to the ground. We're going to extend the legs, reach the arms back behind us, take a big stretch. Walk your left foot over to the left-hand side, right foot over to the left-hand side as well, maybe crossing the ankles. And then mirror that shape with your upper body, walking your shoulders and your arms over to the left too. Banana Asana, taking a nice lateral stretch. Try and keep both of the back of the sit bones towards the ground, so we're not rolling over to the left hip. If you're feeling quite lopsided, which you might do after tonight's class, try and grab, well, you definitely will in this shape, but try and place a bit of pressure on the right hip, maybe a bolster or a pillow, just a wee gentle anchor to keep you grounded. You can grab opposite elbows if you want, or you can let the hands rest upwards. Same shape over to the right. Walk your right foot, then your left, all the way off to the right side of your mat. And then shimmy the shoulders, the head, top of the torso over to the right too. Again, your arms can be extended, or you can grab opposite elbows, maybe flipping the grip of your elbows here. So the weird way. Again, trying to keep the back of the body at the hips grounded, maybe using a cushion to press lightly on the front of the left hip. Bring yourself back through center, bending the knees, taking your feet wide, knocking your knees into the middle. Arms can be overhead or by your side. Enjoy that soft internal rotation of the hips. Effortless shape in constructive rest. We're going to set ourselves up for a really nice long Shavasana this evening. You may want to have your knees elevated slightly, so if you're near a sofa or if you've got a bolster, I'd suggest laying the back of the knees on that. Make sure you're warm. It's very chilly tonight. If you need to turn off any lights or anything, now's your chance to do that. And when you're ready, let your hands rest wherever they go. Think of the ground below you as the same texture and density of sand. And every time you exhale, your body gets a little heavier and sinks more comfortably into the ground below you. Enjoy the weight of your body. Know that it grounds you, stabilizes you. And as you enjoy that heaviness, that density of your bones and your muscles, allow your breath to be light and easy. Let your lips part and let your breath enter and escape your body without effort. Soften all of your facial muscles. And enjoy rest for the next wee while. There's no rush tonight. There's no need to get up. As you stir, enjoy the sound of your breath deepening. Maybe tap into the sounds you can hear in the distance or in your house. Take time to thank yourself for your efforts this evening. Enjoy the feeling of stretch, of good stress on your tissues, that reverberating warmth that we get after moving and breathing. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely week. Just stay where you are. I'll turn the cameras off.